chosen one. Heaven has paused everything around you in this very moment, so you cannot scroll past what is being spoken. This is not coincidence. This is not just another message on your screen. This is divine intervention. God Himself has halted your steps because He refuses to let you keep walking blindly when eternity is at stake. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in. You are chosen, set apart, and marked by heaven. Listen carefully now. Every second of delay pulls you further into danger, but every second of surrender pulls you closer to destiny. You have felt the tug in your heart before, the whispers of God in the quiet of night, but you silenced them with noise, with busyness, with distractions that dulled your spirit. Yet here you are again, face to face with a voice you cannot ignore. The Spirit of God is drawing you, even now, and you know it. You feel the weight in your chest, the undeniable knowing that this message is yours. Beloved, chosen one, you have run long enough. You cannot outrun God's call. Heaven is leaning in. Angels are watching. The very throne of God is aware that you are hearing this message right now. You may feel small, overlooked, or forgotten, but in the eyes of heaven, you are a critical piece of the divine plan. That is why you are alive in this exact hour. Out of billions, you were chosen. Out of countless faces, God's eyes are on you. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Those words echo through eternity, and now they thunder over you. You were known. You were chosen. You were marked before the foundations of the earth. You are not an accident. And yet, chosen one. The danger lies in ignoring the call. Every time you silence the whisper, your spirit feels it. Every time you delay, the grip of darkness strengthens. There is a battle for your soul, and the enemy knows your value, even more than you do. That's why the attacks against you have been relentless. That's why confusion has followed you. That's why you've been tempted to numb yourself with distractions, relationships, substances, or endless scrolling. But hear me, your destiny is too costly to be wasted on comfort. Do not ignore God any longer. His mercy is speaking. But mercy does not chase forever. There comes a moment when heaven says, enough. That is why this message is not casual. This is your moment. This is your intersection of eternity. Think about the times you should have died, but didn't. The car accident that almost happened. The sickness that should have taken you out. The depression that almost swallowed you. Yet you are here. Why? Because heaven intervened. Because God blocked death's hand from taking you prematurely. Because your calling is still waiting. Because your purpose is not finished. You owe it to God, to yourself, and to the world to stop ignoring this call. Listen closely. There are others tied to your obedience. Souls are attached to your yes. If you rise, others will rise. If you speak, others will hear. If you shine, others will find their way out of darkness. That is why the enemy wants you silent, hidden, distracted, and asleep. But today the voice of God awakens you. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." That peace is reaching for you right now. Not the false peace of scrolling through endless noise, not the shallow peace of temporary escapes, but the eternal peace that comes only from surrendering to God's hand. Chosen one. You cannot keep ignoring him. This is a moment of life or regret. The path before you is split. One road leads to fulfillment, to glory, to destiny. The other leads to emptiness, regret, and the heavy silence of what could have been. Do not let this be the chapter where you keep delaying. Let this be the moment you declare, I will listen, I will obey, I will no longer ignore my God. Now pause, take a breath, and decide. Heaven is waiting. Do not harden your heart. If this word has pierced you, show heaven that you receive it. Like this message, share it with another soul who needs it. Subscribe so you do not miss the voice of God again. And comment below the number 777 as a prophetic act that you choose completion, divine alignment, and the fullness of God's calling over your life. Chosen one. The weight of ignored whispers is heavy. Even when you try to bury it, you have felt it before, the quiet voice that nudges you, the stirring in your spirit that tells you, do not go there, or this is not for you. Yet so often, instead of yielding, you silence the voice with excuses. You told yourself you would change later, that there was still time, that God would understand your delay. But your heart knows the truth. Every ignored whisper leaves a mark. Every silenced nudge leaves a scar. You cannot deny the countless times God reached out, through late-night moments of conviction, through sudden tears you could not explain, through words from others that struck you as if they were meant only for you, through songs, through dreams, through scripture passages that seem to leap out with urgency. Heaven has been speaking, but you have been pressing mute. And though you have ignored the voice, it has never ignored you. Ignoring God never happens in one loud act of rebellion. It comes quietly, softly, almost without noticing. One postponed prayer, one delayed decision, one step away from the path, like a candle flickering. Each moment of neglect dims the flame. And yet, no matter how faint the light, God has never let it go out. That whisper you have silenced again and again is proof He has not given up on you. But let me speak clearly. Chosen one, the danger of ignoring God is not only that you drift from Him, but that you become numb. The voice grows softer, not because it is weaker, but because your ears become hardened. The whispers that once stirred you now barely move you. The tears that once fell easily now seem locked behind walls of indifference. It is not that God stopped speaking, it is that the heart, when ignored too long, can become deaf. You know this in your own story. Think of how many times you felt the urge to pray but chose distraction. How many times you sensed God urging you to step away from something toxic, yet you clung to it. How many nights you knew you should open your Bible, but chose the glowing screen instead. And though you moved on quickly, your soul felt the weight, that dull heaviness, that nagging emptiness, that restless sense that nothing satisfies it, is the echo of ignored whispers. Beloved, your Father is patient, but His patience is not permission to ignore Him forever. There is a sobering truth you must face. Every whisper you reject is a gift of grace wasted. The Spirit is warning you because your soul's future depends on your response. The ancient words recorded in Romans still echo today. Chapter 2, verse 4. Do you show contempt for the riches of his kindness, forbearance and patience? Not realizing God's kindness leads you to repentance? Do you see it? Even the very whispers you've ignored were acts of kindness. Even the tugging you felt when you wanted to give up, that was his kindness. Even the gentle warnings before destructive choices, that was his kindness. You have not been abandoned, you have been pursued. And the weight you feel now is the testimony of heaven's relentless pursuit of you. Still, the more you ignore him, the greater the cost. Think of the doors that should have opened, but did not. Think of the peace that was available, but lost in anxiety. Think of the relationships that could have been healed, but were left broken because you delayed obedience. Ignoring God does not only affect eternity, it robs you here and now. Chosen one, your life is too valuable to carry the heavy burden of regret. You cannot afford to keep silencing the one voice that matters most. Everything else you chase success, attention, comfort will fade like smoke, but the voice of God is eternal, and every ignored whisper will echo into eternity if you refuse to respond. There is still hope. Conviction is not condemnation, it is mercy in motion. If you can still feel the weight, if you can still hear the whisper, then it is not too late. The very fact that your heart is stirred right now is proof that heaven's door is not closed. This is your moment to awaken, to recognize that the whispers are not random, they are lifelines from God himself. Do not dismiss this. Do not shrug it off. Every second matters. The enemy wants you numb, distracted, asleep, but God is shaking you awake. He is reminding you of the cost of ignoring him, not to shame you, but to save you. And one day, chosen one, when you finally say yes, you will look back on every ignored whisper with tears of gratitude, realizing that even in your delay, God's mercy chased you down. But let today be that turning point. Let today be the day you no longer add weight to your soul by silencing the voice of God. Chosen one. Your tears have been counted. Not one drop has slipped unnoticed into the earth. Every sigh, every unspoken word, every night you laid awake with eyes burning from silent weeping, heaven saw it all. You may have thought no one understood. No one cared. No one even noticed. But God's eyes were upon you. Your pain is not wasted. Your suffering is not invisible. It has been recorded in heaven's book of remembrance. When the world brushed you aside, when friends left you, when even family failed to understand the depth of your struggle, you wondered if anyone truly knew the battles you fought. But hear this clearly. God knows. He saw you at the moment you thought you were utterly alone. He was there when you broke, when you whispered desperate prayers with no words. He did not turn away. He has kept every tear like jewels, stored them in his bottle, as the psalmist once proclaimed, and because he has counted your tears, he has also measured the weight of your destiny. Pain is never random in the life of one who is chosen. The intensity of your trial is proof of the greatness of your calling. The enemy would not fight you so fiercely if you were ordinary. Darkness would not try to crush you if your light were not destined to blind it. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every rejection was designed to silence you, but God has preserved you. Because you were meant to rise. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8, You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Let that truth sink deeply into your spirit. None of it was wasted. Even the nights when you thought, "This is meaningless. This is too much. This is unbearable." Heaven was storing the weight of your testimony. And one day, your tears will not only testify of your pain, they will testify of God's faithfulness in carrying you through. Beloved, chosen one, your tears are evidence of the warfare around your life. They prove you have been marked, but they are also evidence of a God who has never turned his face away from you. While others mocked, judged, or abandoned you, God leaned closer. While others only saw weakness, he saw strength forming. While others walked away from your brokenness, he walked right into it, to hold you together when you had no strength left. Do not despise the tears. They are sacred. They are the language of your soul when words could not be found. They are incense before the throne of heaven. They speak louder than prayers you never voiced. And because of those tears, there is a harvest of joy waiting. What was sown in weeping will be reaped in rejoicing. But I must warn you, the danger is not the tears themselves. It is believing the lie that your tears mean you are forgotten. That is the whisper of the enemy. He wants you to believe your pain is wasted, that God has abandoned you, that nothing will change. But the very opposite is true. Your tears are proof you are seen, proof you are loved, proof you are chosen. Now, chosen one, here is your moment of response. I want you to step out in faith, to make a declaration in the comments, not for me, not for others, but as a prophetic act before heaven. Write the words, "I am seen." No, write it boldly. Write it with conviction. Because when you declare, "I am seen," you silence the lie of invisibility. You remind your soul that God has counted every tear. You remind the enemy that his attempts to make you feel forgotten have failed. And you align yourself with heaven's truth that you are precious, you are remembered, and you are chosen. Let these three words become your battle cry. In your darkest nights, whisper them, "I am seen." When loneliness tries to creep in, repeat them, "I am seen." When you feel unworthy, unlovable, unnoticed, declare them with fire. "I am seen," because heaven has recorded your tears as evidence that you are never overlooked. Beloved, your story is not over. The chapter of sorrow is not the conclusion. It is preparation for glory. There will come a day when your tears will be wiped away, not only from your eyes, but from your history. You will stand as one who endured, one who was carried by the hands of God, one who is living proof that no pain is wasted in the life of the chosen. Until then, let every tear remind you, you are seen, you are remembered, and you are deeply loved. Chosen one, you have worn the mask of strength for so long that even you have begun to forget what your unguarded face looks like. To others, you seem composed, capable, resilient, someone who always knows how to carry the weight, someone who never breaks. Yet, behind closed doors, when the noise fades and the lights go out, you know the truth. You are tired. You are weary. You have been holding yourself together with fragments of willpower and silent prayers. The world sees the mask, but God sees the heart. It is easy to pretend. It is easy to laugh when inside you ache. It is easy to nod and say, "I'm fine." when the truth is that you're drowning in silence. You've become skilled at hiding, skilled at putting on the armor of composure in the morning, only to lay it down in tears at night. And though people around you may not notice the cracks, God notices. Heaven has never been fooled by the mask. Consider how heavy it has been to carry the mask. Every conversation feels rehearsed. Every smile feels painted. Every gesture feels like a performance. And deep inside, you long for someone to see you, not the strong you, not the composed you, not the masked you, but the real you. That longing itself is a whisper from God. He has been saying, "Child, I see through it all, and I love you anyway." End quote. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Chosen one. You may fear that if you remove the mask, people will not understand. Perhaps that is true. People are often quick to misjudge what they do not comprehend. But the one whose opinion matters most will never reject you for being real. He will never despise you for being weak. In fact, it is often in your most vulnerable state that his power flows most freely. Think about the times you broke in secret, when no one else was watching. Did you notice how, in those lowest moments, you felt a strange strength rise just enough to keep you going? That was him. That was proof that even when you fell apart, his hand held you. The mask may fool people, but the presence of God has always been aware of the fragile, trembling heart beneath it. And here lies a mystery. The very weakness you try so hard to cover is the very place where his glory longs to dwell. For what the world sees as fragility, heaven calls a vessel. God does not need your mask of perfection. He needs your cracked vessel so his light can shine through the broken places. Beloved, masks are exhausting. They trap you in a cycle of pretending and hiding, never truly free. Always wondering if anyone would still love the real you. But God has already answered that question. Yes. Yes. He loves the raw you. Yes. He loves the weak you. Yes. He loves the one behind the mask. The one who struggles. The one who cries. The one who feels small. The time has come to lay the mask down, to stop exhausting yourself with the illusion of constant strength, to let yourself be human before God. Because in his eyes, being human is not failure. It is the very condition he chose to redeem. Remember this. Jesus himself wept. Jesus himself was weary. Jesus himself felt sorrow and agony in his soul. And yet, he was never less beloved, never less chosen. If the Son of God did not hide his anguish, why should you hide yours? The moment you remove the mask, something shifts. You stop performing. You stop carrying the impossible burden of appearances. You stop fighting battles alone. And instead, you allow the one who sees through it all to carry you, to heal you, to remind you that being chosen was never about being flawless. It was always about being surrendered. Chosen one. Do not be afraid of being seen by God. He already sees. He already knows. The mask you wear may fool men, but it has never fooled heaven. And if you will dare to remove it before him, you will discover a freedom deeper than anything you've ever known. Your tears, your weaknesses, your scars, they are not shameful. They are sacred. They are where God meets you most powerfully. And when you finally dare to live unmasked before him, You will find rest for your weary soul, and the heavy burden of pretending will fall away forever. Chosen one. Distractions are chains. They may glitter like ornaments. They may taste sweet for a moment, but in reality, they bind you and weigh you down. Think of a bird meant to soar, yet tied by invisible cords that hold its wings to the ground. That is what distractions have done to you. They promise relief, but steal freedom. They promise escape, but deliver bondage. You know this feeling. Hours lost to endless scrolling, only to feel emptier when you put the screen down. Relationships that seemed exciting at first, but left you drained and further from God. Habits that offered quick comfort, but left a residue of guilt afterward. These are not harmless pauses. They are shackles crafted to keep you from rising. And the tragedy of chains is that sometimes they feel so familiar. You stop noticing their weight. You think, this is just life. But it is not. It is bondage disguised as normal. Heaven never intended you to crawl when you were made to run. Never meant you to stumble in fog when you were meant to blaze with clarity. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That is why distractions are so deadly. They don't just waste time, they slowly corrode the heart. They dull your discernment, soften your resolve, and blind you to the urgency of your calling. Like weeds in a garden, they choke out the very seeds of destiny planted inside you. Imagine your soul as a lamp. Every distraction is a smudge on the glass. At first, the flame still flickers through, but with each added stain, the light grows dimmer, until one day, though the fire still burns, it is almost invisible to those around you. That is what distraction does. It hides your God-given light behind the fog of temporary pleasures. But here is the good news. Chains can be broken. Smudges can be wiped clean. The weeds can be uprooted. You are not bound forever to these distractions. The same God who sees behind your mask, the same God who counts your tears, is the God who breaks chains in an instant when you call on Him. He does not condemn you for being distracted. He calls you out of it, into focus, into clarity, into freedom. Beloved, it is time to recognize that your attention is your treasure. Where you place it is where your future flows. The enemy knows this, and that is why he fights for your focus with relentless warfare. If he can steal your attention, he can weaken your destiny. If he can keep you busy with what does not matter, you will have no energy left for what truly matters. But you, chosen one, are not ordinary. You are called to carry a light that terrifies darkness. You are not just another soul wandering through distraction. You are a soldier. And soldiers do not entangle themselves with civilian affairs. Soldiers focus on the mission because lives depend on it, and lives are tied to your obedience. Now, as you let these words pierce your heart, I want to ask you something, not for me, but for the mission we carry together. If this message is breaking chains inside you, if it is helping you see your life with new clarity, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it like a lifeline thrown to someone drowning. Someone else you know is chained by the very same distractions, and your simple act of sharing could be the spark that frees them. And if you find strength here, if these words nourish your soul like bread in famine, then consider supporting this work. Just as a lamp must be fueled to keep shining, This mission must be sustained to keep reaching souls like you. Your prayers, your encouragement, your generosity, they are not just support. They are partnership in the battle for countless lives. Do not underestimate the impact of your small act. A like tells the world, this message matters. A share extends the reach of God's voice. A subscription anchors you into this flow of divine reminders, so you never drift too far again. And your donation, however humble, becomes seed planted into fertile soil, multiplying into testimonies you may never hear until eternity. Think of it like this. Every gift is a brick in the lighthouse we are building together, alone. One brick may seem small, but together they form a tower that pierces storms, guiding ships safely to shore. That is what your support does. It builds a beacon of hope in a world drowning in noise and distraction. Beloved, distractions may have chained you, but today freedom is calling. Lay aside what weighs you down. Step into clarity. And if this word has stirred something deep in your spirit, then join hands with this mission through your like, your share, your subscription, and yes, even your giving, because together we are not just breaking our own chains, we are breaking chains for generations to come. Chosen one. A voice has been pursuing you, a voice you cannot escape, though you have tried to drown it out with noise, busyness, and endless distractions. It is not the voice of guilt. It is not the voice of condemnation. It is the voice of the one who formed you, calling you back again and again, patiently, persistently, relentlessly. You have heard him in dreams, those vivid moments where something sacred stirred your spirit, yet you brushed it off as imagination. You have heard him in conversations when someone spoke a word that pierced you deeper than they even realized. You have heard him in signs, the coincidences too precise to be random, the timing too exact to ignore. And still, you've run. Still, you've said, not now, maybe later. But here you are again, listening. And that voice is closer than ever. Why do you run? Chosen one, is it fear that if you listen fully, you will have to change? Is it the thought that surrender will cost you too much? Hear me clearly. The only thing obedience costs is bondage. What you will lose are the chains. What you will surrender are the weights. What you will give up is the emptiness that has haunted you all along. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is the voice calling you, not the voice of a harsh master, but of a loving Father. He does not call you to crush you, he calls you to carry you. He does not invite you to slavery, he invites you to rest. And the reason you cannot escape this voice is because it is the voice of your true home. Every other voice will eventually fade, but his will always find you. Perhaps you wonder why the voice won't stop. Why? No matter how far you wander, it echoes still. Beloved, it is because God refuses to let you waste away in shadows when you were created for light. The shepherd does not stop calling until the lost sheep is found. That persistence is not nagging, it is mercy. Every nudge, every whisper, every stirring is God saying, I still want you. I still choose you. I still call you mine. But take heed. Chosen one, though his voice is patient, time is not. Every later you whisper is a gamble with your own destiny. Every time you silence him, the chains of distraction tighten. The numbness grows stronger. Do not harden your heart to the voice that is your lifeline. Think of it like standing at a riverbank. The water is rushing by. If you step in now, the current of grace will carry you forward. But if you stand frozen, saying, "Later," the river does not pause, it keeps moving. Delay does not stop time, it only risks leaving you behind. You cannot outrun this voice, and you cannot ignore it forever. It is better to surrender now, while mercy still calls, than to wake one day in silence, realizing the whispers you once heard are no longer there. That silence would not be peace, it would be judgment. So, what will you do? Chosen one. Will you keep running? Or will you finally say yes? Will you let the voice you cannot escape become the anchor of your soul? This is not a small decision. This is the turning point. And because I know how powerful it is to seal a word with action, I am asking you to do something prophetic right now. In the comments, type the number 444. Why 444? Because it is a sign of divine alignment. A reminder that God is bringing your steps into order. Every time you see it, it will remind you, the voice you cannot escape is not against you. It is for you. By typing it, you are declaring, I choose to align. I choose to listen. I will no longer run. Do it not as a ritual, but as a mark of faith. When you write 444, you are telling heaven, I hear the call. You are telling the enemy, I will not ignore the voice anymore. And you are telling your own soul, this is my moment of alignment. Chosen one. The voice has followed you long enough. Let this be the day you stop running. Let this be the day you say, speak, Lord, I am listening. Chosen one. Mercy is a vast ocean, but even oceans have shores. You may have felt that God's patience is endless, that you can always wait one more day, one more season, one more year before you surrender. But the truth is sobering. There is an edge to mercy. It is wide. It is deep. It is offered freely. But it is not limitless in time. To ignore it continually is to drift closer to a boundary you do not want to cross. Think of it this way. A lamp burns with oil. As long as there is oil, the flame shines bright. But if the oil is wasted, neglected, or taken for granted, eventually the lamp flickers out. Mercy is like that. Oil, it fuels your life. It keeps your spirit burning, but it cannot be presumed upon forever. There comes a moment when delay turns into danger. You have felt mercy's hand again and again, in the mistakes that should have ruined you but didn't, in the temptations that should have swallowed you but couldn't, in the storms that should have destroyed you but somehow passed over. That was mercy. You did not survive by accident. You were spared by divine intention. But here is the truth you must face. Mercy is meant to lead you to change, not to excuse delay. Every spared moment is a second chance, not a license to continue as you were. And to treat mercy lightly is to risk losing the very gift that has been keeping you alive. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 34, verse 6. The Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness. Yes, He is compassionate. Yes, He is gracious. Yes, He is slow to anger. But do not mistake slowness for absence. Do not confuse patience with permission. His mercy is astounding, but it is also purposeful. It waits for you to turn, but it will not wait forever. Beloved, this is not spoken to frighten you, but to awaken you. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff. A step back is safety, a step forward is ruin. That is where delayed obedience leaves you one decision away from falling into consequences that mercy cannot shield you from anymore. And the cliff is closer than you think. Perhaps you remember times when you felt a deep stirring to change, but you silenced it. Times when you knew God was warning you, but you told yourself, "I'll listen later," and later never came. Yet here you are again, being warned once more. That itself is mercy. But how many more chances will you be given before the whisper becomes silence? Mercy has limits, not because God's love runs out, but because the human heart hardens with every refusal. The more you say no, the less you feel the pull. The more you delay, the quieter conviction becomes. The most terrifying judgment is not thunder and lightning. It is when God steps back and allows you to have the very rebellion you insisted upon. Chosen one. You are standing at a holy tension. Grace still calls, but delay still tempts. Do not deceive yourself into thinking you can live forever in between. The middle ground is crumbling beneath your feet. You must decide. And you must decide soon. Look back on your life and see the evidence. How many times has mercy rescued you? How many times has it kept you from consequences you deserved? And now ask yourself, how many more times will you gamble with the edge of mercy? If you could see the unseen, you would realize how close you are to the turning point. Angels are holding back what should have touched you. Demons are waiting for one more act of rebellion. Heaven and hell are watching the next decision you make. The stakes could not be higher. And yet, in this wait, there is still hope. Because if you are hearing this, it means mercy has not ended. The ocean has not yet run dry. The door has not yet closed. The lamp has not yet flickered out. The whisper still speaks. The spirit still stirs. The call still reaches. This is proof you are not too far gone. But do not let the proof make you careless. Let it make you grateful. Let it drive you to act. Because the truth remains, mercy waits. But it will not wait forever. Beloved, stand still for a moment and feel the weight of this. You are living in borrowed time. Time extended by mercy itself. What will you do with it? Waste it again? Delay again? Or will you finally say yes before the edge arrives? The choice is yours. But the clock is ticking, and mercy's hand, though strong, is not stretched out forever. Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why life has felt like a battlefield? Why certain storms seem to rise against you with unnatural fury? Why temptations cling to you with relentless grip? Why confusion swirls around your path more fiercely than around others? It is because hell fights hard for you. Darkness recognizes the light you carry, and it knows that if you ever step fully into your calling, its grip over others will be broken. The war over your soul is not random, it is strategic. The enemy has studied you. He has watched your patterns, your weaknesses, your desires, and he has crafted attacks specifically to wear you down. That is why some of your struggles feel so personal, so uniquely targeted. It is because they are. You are not facing generic opposition, you are facing tailored warfare, designed to derail a chosen one before they rise. Do not take this lightly. Every sleepless night, every sudden wave of discouragement, every voice of doubt that whispers, "You are not enough." These are not coincidences. They are assaults. Because hell knows something you are still discovering. Your very existence is a threat. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. This is why the attacks rage. The work that was started in you has the potential to ignite others. The light inside you has the power to spark flames in the lives of those trapped in darkness. And so the adversary tries to suffocate you before you burn too brightly. But here is the truth the enemy hopes you never realize. The fact that you are fought so hard is proof of your value. Hell does not waste resources on those who pose no threat. Darkness does not invest in battles it cannot lose. The very intensity of your struggle is evidence that heaven has marked you for impact. Think of it like a treasure chest buried deep. The more valuable the treasure, the more fiercely it is guarded, the more traps surround it. Your soul, your calling, your destiny, they are treasure. And the constant opposition you face is proof that what you carry is priceless. Chosen one. This is why you cannot afford to believe the lie that your struggles mean you are weak or forgotten. Quite the opposite. They mean you are significant. They mean your light is already shining, even if you don't feel it. They mean you are seen not only by heaven, but also by hell. And that recognition is why the war has been so fierce. Consider your past. How many times were you pulled toward destruction, yet something stopped you? How many traps were set for you, yet you walked away unharmed? That was no accident. Hell may have fought hard, but heaven has fought harder. You are still here because the hand of God has preserved you. Beloved, do not misinterpret the warfare. Do not think the storms are signs of abandonment. They are signs of calling. Soldiers are not attacked in training fields. They are attacked when they step near the front lines. The resistance you feel is proof you are advancing towards something greater. And understand this, even when the enemy roars, his power is limited. He can press, but he cannot possess. He can attack, but he cannot destroy. His fury may be real, but it is not final. For every weapon formed against you, heaven has already decreed a boundary. You are shielded more than you realize. So stand firm. Chosen one. When discouragement whispers, remember, it is not proof you are weak, but proof you are feared. When temptation lingers, remember, it is not because you are ordinary, but because you are chosen. When storms rage, remember, they do not rage against empty fields, they rage against fruitful ones. Hell fights hard for you because your light will set others free. If the enemy can keep you bound, he can keep those tied to you bound as well. But if you rise, if you embrace your calling, if you step into the fullness of who you were meant to be, then the chains of many will shatter. Chosen one. You are not just another target. You are a warrior carrying fire. That is why the enemy trembles. That is why the battle has been so fierce. And though hell fights hard, heaven fights harder. And the one who began a good work in you will finish it. No matter how intense the battle becomes, chosen one, your presence is not ordinary. You may not see it with your own eyes, but when you walk into a room, atmospheres shift. The unseen realm reacts to you because you carry light. That is why certain people cannot explain why they are drawn to you. and others cannot explain why they feel sudden resistance toward you. It is because your spirit carries weight that disrupts darkness and awakens what has been asleep in others. You have underestimated yourself for too long. You have believed the lie that you blend in, that you are invisible, that your life makes little difference. But listen carefully. The truth is that your presence shakes atmospheres. Even when you say nothing, even when you do not try, even when you think you are too broken to matter, the mark of God upon your life radiates outward. Darkness cannot ignore it, and heaven celebrates it. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. That light is within you. That salvation has marked you. That stronghold has surrounded you. And because of it, your life carries an authority that is greater than you realize. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how certain environments suddenly feel heavy, but when you arrive, the heaviness begins to lift? Or how conversations shift when you speak a single word of truth? That is not coincidence. That is divine design. You are a carrier of light, and light cannot enter a place without pushing back the shadows. Beloved, this is why you have often felt misunderstood. Some people resist you not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. Their spirits sense your light, and if they are unwilling to face their own darkness, they will resist yours. Do not take it personally. It is not rejection of you, it is rejection of the light within you. And yet, others are drawn. They feel safe near you. They feel hope when they hear you. They cannot explain why. But your presence feels like a refuge. That is not simply your personality. It is the Spirit of God moving through you. Heaven has made you a living sanctuary, a walking reminder that light still exists. But here is the danger. If you remain unaware of the authority you carry, you may shrink back. You may hide. You may keep silent when you were meant to speak. And every time you silence yourself, atmospheres remain unchanged that were meant to be transformed. Chosen one, you must step into boldness. You must understand that you were not meant to walk into rooms unnoticed. You were meant to carry the kingdom with you. When you walk into your workplace, light walks in. When you sit among your family, light sits with you. When you step into broken places, healing has entered. That is the reality of who you are. The enemy knows this, which is why he tries to suffocate your confidence. He tries to whisper that your life doesn't matter, that your prayers have no effect, that your words carry no weight. But those are lies designed to keep you silent. Because the moment you believe the truth of who you are, everything changes. Let this sink in. You do not need a title to carry authority. You do not need a stage to shift atmospheres. You do not need recognition to be powerful. You are powerful because God has placed His Spirit within you. And where His Spirit is, there is freedom. There is light. There is transformation. Chosen one, here is your prophetic act for this moment. Write in the comments, light breaks darkness. No, do it as a declaration. Because every time you write those words, you are agreeing with the truth of who you are. You are declaring to yourself and to the unseen realm that you refuse to dim. You refuse to hide. You refuse to silence the light within you. You are reminding your soul that your presence shifts atmospheres, and you are reminding darkness that no matter how it fights, it cannot overcome the light you carry. When you declare, "Light breaks darkness," you are stepping into identity. You are claiming the truth that your life has weight, and you are sealing the reality that wherever you go, you are not passive, you are powerful. Chosen one. Never forget this. Your presence is a weapon. Your very existence terrifies the enemy. You are not invisible. You are not ordinary. You are a living flame, and atmospheres will always shift around you. Chosen one. Have you noticed how the fiercest storms always come before a great unveiling? The weight of trial, the pressure of resistance, the fire of adversity, it is not random. It is the storm before your crown. A crown is not placed on untested heads. It is reserved for those who have endured, those who have stood through winds and waves, those who have proven that their faith cannot be broken. Think of gold. Before it gleams, it is pressed into fire. Before it shines, it endures the heat. Or think of a seed. Before it bursts into bloom, it is buried in darkness, pressed under soil, unseen and forgotten. That is where you have been pressed, hidden, tested. But hear me, storms do not come to bury you. They come to reveal what cannot be destroyed. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Beloved, what you are walking through is not meaningless suffering. It is preparation. Every trial has been sharpening your endurance. Every setback has been sculpting your resilience. Every tear has been watering the soil where your future crown will rest. But I know it has been heavy. At times you wondered, why me? Why does the storm never seem to end? You compared yourself to others who seem to walk in sunshine while you stand in endless rain. But chosen ones are tested differently. The weight of your storm is in proportion to the weight of your crown. Ordinary lives cannot explain extraordinary battles. Now hear me clearly. The crown is not only for later in eternity, it is also for here and now. It is the authority to stand unshaken. It is the maturity forged in fire. It is the wisdom that comes only through scars. You are being prepared to carry what others cannot. And though the storm rages, it is proof you are near the unveiling. Imagine your life as a vessel on a stormy sea. The winds howl, the waves crash, the sky darkens, but within you is an anchor. That anchor is Christ. And because of him, you will not capsize. The storm may rage outside, but inside you, the anchor holds. And when the winds calm, your vessel will carry treasures that could only have been forged through the storm. Chosen one. This is why you cannot quit. The enemy wants you to mistake the storm for punishment. But it is not punishment, it is promotion. It is the process that precedes the crown. And when you finally stand, when the winds cease and the light breaks through, you will carry a glory that makes every tear worth it. But let me speak to your heart. You do not have to endure this journey alone. Just as a ship survives the sea with sails, ropes, and crew, so too does this mission need many hands. If this word has been strength to you in your storm, then consider helping it reach others, still drowning in theirs. A like may seem small, but it's like adding a spark to a lighthouse. It makes the beacon brighter. A share is like throwing out a lifeline. It might be the rope someone else grabs when they're going under. A subscription is like anchoring yourself to a steady flow of reminders so you don't drift when storms come again. And yes, even your giving is part of this great work. Imagine the fire in a hearth. Someone must keep fueling it, or the flame will die. That is what your donations do. They keep the flame alive, not just for you, but for countless others who stumble into the storm, desperate for light. Every gift is like oil poured into the lamp. Alone, one drop may seem small, but together, they keep the flame burning through the night. Beloved, your storm has not been wasted. Your crown is nearer than you think, and as you hold on, remember, you are not only enduring for yourself, you are enduring so that when your crown is placed upon your head, you can stand as proof that storms do not destroy chosen ones, they refine them. And as this message continues to go forth through your prayers, your shares, your subscriptions, and even your support, it becomes a lighthouse for others. Together, we build a tower in the storm, a shining beacon that says to the weary, hold on, the crown is coming. On, chosen one, take courage. You are in the storm before your crown, but the anchor holds. The fire refines. The soil breaks forth, and soon, you will shine with a glory that proves every battle was worth it. Chosen one, you were born for this time, not another era, not another generation, not another setting. You were woven by God's hands for this exact moment in history. When you look at the world around you, filled with confusion, with corruption, with hearts drifting further from truth, you might wonder, why was I born now, in such a time as this? The answer is simple yet profound, because your light was meant to shine in the darkness of now. It is no accident that you live in this generation. No accident that you carry the gifts, the wounds, the wisdom, and even the scars that you do. Every part of your story is a piece of God's design for this hour. You are not misplaced. You are perfectly placed. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Esther's story when her cousin declared, chapter 4, verse 14, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Though those words were spoken long ago, they echo in your life today. You are here not by random chance, but by divine appointment. Beloved, think of how you have been preserved. Think of how many moments you should not have survived. Think of the narrow escapes, the battles that should have left you defeated, the burdens that should have broken you, but somehow you endured. That somehow is the evidence of God's hand, keeping you alive because your assignment was not finished. This time in history requires voices like yours, hearts like yours, resilience like yours. The shaking in the world is not to scare you, it is to awaken you. For you were not made to hide in fear, but to stand as a pillar of light in the storm. Your generation needs you, not the masked version, not the distracted version, not the silent version, the real you, the chosen you, the one who carries scars yet still stands, the one who has been broken yet is still burning, the one who has been counted out by others but counted on by heaven. Do not despise your story. Do not think your struggles disqualified you. In truth, they have equipped you. How could you comfort others if you never knew sorrow? How could you lead others out of darkness if you never wrestled through your own? How could you declare victory with authority if you never faced battles that threatened to undo you? Your pain is not wasted, it is preparation. Your survival is not mere endurance, it is empowerment. You are a living testimony that God keeps his chosen ones, even in the fiercest fires. Chosen one. Pause and consider. What if your silence leaves someone else in bondage? What if your hiding leaves someone else lost? What if your delay costs someone else their breakthrough? That is why the timing matters. This is not just about you, it is about those tied to your obedience. Souls are waiting on your yes. Generations are waiting on your rise. You were not placed in this generation to blend in, to follow the patterns of emptiness, or to echo the voices of the crowd. You were placed here to disrupt, to shine, to awaken, to remind a sleeping world that God still speaks, still heals, still saves, still reigns. And though the pressure feels immense, remember this: God trusted you with this time. He would not have placed you here if you were not able to carry the weight. He does not make mistakes. He does not misplace his chosen ones. If he has planted you in this season, it is because you are strong enough, bold enough, and chosen enough to stand. Look around and you will see signs everywhere. People searching for hope in hollow things, voices shouting, but few speaking truth. Darkness rising, but not realizing that light has also risen, and you are part of that light. Beloved, the enemy has tried to convince you that you are late, that you are unworthy, that you are unprepared. But the truth is the opposite. You are right on time. You are worthy not because of perfection, but because of grace. And you are prepared not because you avoided struggle, but because you survived it. Chosen one. You were born for this exact moment. And though you may feel small in the grand scheme of the world, remember, one spark can ignite a forest. One voice can awaken a nation. One obedient heart can shift history. You are that spark. You are that voice. You are that heart. And this time, this chaotic, confusing, shaking time is exactly where you were meant to rise. Chosen one. The call cannot be transferred. What heaven placed in you cannot simply be handed to another. No matter how long you delay, no matter how far you run, others may imitate, others may shine in their own assignments. But what was written over your life is unique. Your fingerprints are unlike any other, and so is your purpose. It is a sobering truth. If you refuse to rise, yes, God will still move. He is never without power, but the world will miss the particular flame you were meant to bring. Your absence leaves a gap, a silence, a missing note in the symphony of destiny. You were not designed to be replaced. You were designed to be revealed. Every chord in the divine symphony has its own sound, and yours is irreplaceable. If it is silenced, the melody of history loses depth. Do not believe the lie that someone else can fully stand in your place. Your call was shaped by your wounds, your victories, your story, your very breath. Heaven wrote your name on an assignment no one else can bear. The world is waiting for your note, your sound, your flame. Without it, something vital remains unfinished. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. These ancient words press into the heart of your struggle. How long will you keep standing in hesitation, half listening, half ignoring, hoping someone else will carry what you were born for? Heaven is not asking someone else. Heaven is asking you. Beloved, think of it this way. A torch was placed in your hands before you were born. That torch was not given to your friend, your sibling, or your neighbor. It was entrusted to you. If you drop it, no one else can carry it the way you were meant to. And if you let it burn out, the patch of darkness you were supposed to light remains in shadow. This is why the battle has been so relentless. The enemy is not just after your peace, he is after your assignment. He knows that if he can make you believe your call can simply pass to another, you will never rise. But the truth is, God wrote your name beside a task. And until you answer, the space remains waiting. Do you realize how much is tied to your obedience? Whole destinies, generations, voices yet unborn. Someone's freedom could be tied to your yes. Someone's healing may depend on your testimony. Someone's awakening may hinge on your courage to finally stop wavering. You are not small in heaven's eyes. You are a link in a great chain. And if you refuse to rise, the chain weakens where you were meant to stand strong. And still, God's voice comes again, patient but urgent. He is saying, "Child, I gave this to you. No one else can take your place. Len, beloved, chosen one. It is time to stop hoping someone else will carry the weight that belongs to you. It is time to rise into the assignment heaven reserved for your life. You have everything you need, not because you are perfect, but because the one who called you is perfect. He keeps. He strengthens. He finishes what he begins. Do not despise your small beginnings. Do not compare yourself to others who seem further ahead. They cannot carry your crown. They cannot fulfill your story. They cannot sing your song. The call is yours, and yours alone. So let this moment be marked. Do not simply listen, respond. Seal this word with action. Right now, in the comments, type the number 555. Why 555? Because it is the number of grace multiplied. The reminder that God's grace is sufficient not just once, but again and again and again. When you write 555, you are declaring that, though you are weak, His grace is strong. Though you have delayed, His mercy is still here. Though you have wavered, His Spirit is steady. Write it as a prophetic act. The call is mine, and by grace, I will walk in it. Let your own soul see it. Let heaven see it. Let the enemy see it. You are declaring alignment, stepping into the truth that the call cannot be transferred. It is yours. Beloved, let the weight of this reality awaken you. You cannot run forever. You cannot hand off what heaven placed in your hands. You cannot silence what God spoke into your bones before you ever breathed. The call is yours, and now is the time to answer. Chosen one, you are one step away from breakthrough. It may not feel like it. In fact, right now it may feel as if everything is collapsing, as if the ground is shaking beneath your feet, as if the weight of your battles is heavier than ever. But that is often the final pressure before release. Just as the darkest hour of night comes right before dawn, the heaviest resistance comes right before freedom bursts forth. You have been walking a long road. You have endured seasons where progress seemed invisible, where prayers seemed unanswered, where the silence of heaven felt unbearable. Yet here you are, still standing. That alone is proof that you are closer than you realize. Breakthrough is not far, it is near. Think of a seed buried in the soil for weeks, even months. There is no sign of life on the surface, underground. However, Roots are forming. Strength is building. The unseen work is happening. Then suddenly, without warning, a green shoot breaks through the ground. That is breakthrough. Long hidden. Long prepared. Suddenly visible. Your life is in that same moment. The unseen work of God has been preparing you beneath the soil. And now, the moment of visible breakthrough is almost here. The ancient words recorded in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Beloved, this is your proper time, but the key lies in endurance. Breakthrough is not earned by perfection, it is received by perseverance. Those who keep going, even when the soil feels heavy, are the ones who see the harvest. And you are closer than you think. The enemy senses this too, which is why the warfare has intensified. Hell often strikes hardest, right before heaven opens. That sudden heaviness, that unexpected chaos, those waves of discouragement, these are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are on the threshold. The enemy is terrified of what will happen if you step through. Chosen one. Do not misread the season. Do not think the pressure means you are far from breakthrough. The pressure is proof you are near it. The walls that seem unshakable are trembling. The chains that seem unbreakable are weakening. The storm that seems endless is about to exhaust itself. But you must hold steady. This is the moment where many turn back, where many lose heart, where many walk away just before the harvest appears. Do not be one of them. Fix your eyes on the one who called you. Remind your soul of every time he carried you before. Remember how many battles you thought you would lose. Yet somehow you emerged. If he sustained you then, will he not sustain you now? Beloved, take courage in this. Breakthrough is often disguised as breaking. The very pressure that feels like it will crush you is the same force pushing you into your next season. The shaking is not to destroy you, but to loosen the walls around you. The breaking is not to end you, but to release what has been trapped inside you. And when it comes, it will not be small. It will not be subtle. Just as labor pains give way to birth, the travail of your soul will give way to new life. What you have been carrying secretly will be born openly. What has been hidden in darkness will be revealed in light. Chosen one. This is why you cannot quit now. Imagine running a race, exhausted, thinking you cannot take another step, only to discover the finish line was just around the corner. That is where you stand. One more step. One more act of faith. One more refusal to give up. And you will cross into the breakthrough prepared for you. Your tears have watered this moment. Your scars have marked the cost of it. Your prayers have built the foundation for it. And now heaven whispers, hold on. It is near. M4. Do not let fear steal it. Do not let doubt blind you to it. Do not let delay rob you of it. You are one step away, closer than you realize, nearer than you imagine. And when it comes, the very weight that tried to crush you will become the testimony that crowns you. Chosen one. Breathe. Steady yourself. Lift your eyes. The walls are trembling. The soil is breaking. The dawn is rising. Your breakthrough is at the door. Chosen one. Every chain you have carried is not the end of your story. It is the very material from which your authority will be forged. The wounds, the scars, the failures, the mistakes, the regrets you thought disqualified you. These are not signs of defeat, but signs of survival. They are not your shame, they are your credentials. What once bound you will become the proof of the power that now flows through you. Consider this: a soldier who has never faced battle may wear the uniform, but the one who bears scars commands respect. In the same way, the chains you once wore, the addictions you once wrestled, the darkness you once endured, these are the marks that make your testimony undeniable. Others may speak of freedom in theory, but you will speak of it in truth, because you have walked out of captivity into light. The Word of God declares in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind." Fear may have chained you, but it could not keep you. Bondage may have held you, but it did not destroy you. What you carry now is not the stench of your past chains, but the fragrance of freedom. You know what it feels like to be bound, and therefore you know what it means to be free. That knowledge is what makes your authority unshakable. Beloved, do not despise your scars. Scars are not signs of weakness, they are evidence of healing. A wound unhealed bleeds, but a scar testifies, "I was hurt, but I survived." And when you show those scars to others, you do not glorify the pain, you glorify the healer. You remind the world that nothing is too broken for restoration. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned in a dungeon. Every link of his chain screamed that he was forgotten, yet those very chains became the road to the palace. What was meant to crush him became the process that positioned him, and when he stood in authority, his scars became his testimony that God can take the lowest prisoner and raise him to the highest seat. So it is with you, chosen one. Every chain you have carried has prepared you for authority. Every rejection has trained you to lead with compassion. Every failure has equipped you with wisdom. Every night of despair has filled you with a fire to bring hope. Nothing is wasted. Understand this mystery. The enemy thought your chains would silence you. He thought your past would disqualify you. He thought your mistakes would shame you into silence. But instead, God is turning every chain into a key. Every link that once bound, you will unlock freedom for someone else. Every scar you carry will become the doorway to someone else's healing. Do not hide your testimony. Do not pretend you were never bound. There is power in your story, and your story is what will set others free. People do not need polished perfection. They need raw truth. They need to see someone who walked through fire and came out carrying light. That someone is you, chosen one. Authority is not given to the flawless. It is given to the surrendered, and you, with all your scars, all your battles, all your chains now broken, you are the very one God entrusts with authority, because you know what it costs. You will never take freedom lightly, because you know what it feels like to be bound. You will fight harder for others to be free. This is the beauty of your scars. They transform into crowns. They are not reminders of failure, but of victory. And when you stand in the authority God has given you, no one can argue with the evidence of your life. You were bound, but now you are free. You were broken, but now you are whole. You were lost, but now you are chosen. Lift your head. Beloved, do not be ashamed of where you have been. Let the world see your scars. Let the world hear your testimony. For in those very marks lies the proof of God's power. From chains to authority, that is your story. And no darkness can take it from you. Chosen one, it is time to rise. For too long, you have been walking with your head bowed, hiding your fire, shrinking your voice, dimming your light so others might be comfortable. But the hour has come where hiding is no longer an option. You were never meant to stay in the shadows. You are a warrior of light. And it is time to stand, to lead, to shine without fear. Imagine a lamp placed under a basket. The flame still burns, but the room remains dark. Only when the basket is lifted does the flame fulfill its purpose, spreading light, guiding eyes, pushing back shadows. That is you, chosen one. The flame within you has been burning all along, but now God is lifting the covering. Your light was never meant to be hidden. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 37, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." More than conquerors, not just survivors, not just escapees from the grip of darkness. You are more than that. You are one who carries victory, one who was chosen to lead others into the same freedom you now walk in. Beloved, the time of silence is ending. You are not just called to endure, you are called to disrupt. You are not just called to withstand, you are called to advance. Your life was not given so you could blend in quietly. It was given so you could blaze like a torch in the midst of shadows. Think of a battlefield. Warriors do not hide in trenches forever. There comes a moment when the trumpet sounds, and they rise. They lift their heads, grip their swords, and charge. The trumpet is sounding for you now. It is time to rise. Warrior of light. And yet, you must understand this. Warriors do not rise alone. Behind every soldier is an army, a family, a support that holds them steady. In the same way, this mission does not move forward alone. The words you hear, the fire that stirs in you, it is sustained by unseen labor, by countless hours of pouring, praying, preparing. If these words have been life to you, then do not let them stop here. Let them ripple outward. When you like this message, it is not a shallow click, it is your way of saying, "This light matters. Let it be seen by others." When you share it, it is like handing someone else a torch in the dark. You never know who might stumble across it in their hour of despair and find the exact word they needed to keep breathing. And your subscription is not just following, it is anchoring. It is a way of saying, "I refuse to drift. I want to remain connected to this well of truth." Every subscription strengthens the chain of warriors standing together in this fight. Even your giving has a place in this. Think of a great fire on a mountain. The fire burns not because it wills itself to burn, but because wood is constantly laid upon it. Your donations are that wood. They keep the flame alive. They make the light higher. They allow it to be seen further. And though one piece of wood may seem small, when many bring theirs, the fire becomes unmissable. Beloved, this is not manipulation, it is partnership. A warrior rising needs an army around them, and when you engage, whether by a like, a share, a subscription, or a gift, you are not just supporting, you are standing in formation. You are saying, "I am part of this. I will not let this flame die. I will carry it forward." Then, and yes, leave your words here as well. comment your reflections, your faith, your battles, because words written are seeds planted, and someone else scrolling may stumble upon your comment and find courage in your courage. Never underestimate how your voice, even in a simple comment, can stir hope in another. Chosen one, the time for hiding has ended. You have been forged in fire, sustained through storms, preserved through battles, not to remain silent, but to rise. The world is darker than it has ever been, and yet that is the perfect backdrop for your light. For a torch shines brightest in the deepest night. Lift your head, steady your heart, take your place, for you are not only chosen, you are armed, anointed, and appointed for this hour. And as you rise, know this: you do not rise alone. There is an army with you. There is a family around you. There is a mission carrying you. Together, we rise. Together, we shine. Together we stand as warriors of light in a world that desperately needs it. Chosen one, the crown awaits obedience. Glory is not withheld because you are unworthy. It waits because crowns are placed only on surrendered heads. The crown is not a decoration, it is authority, destiny, fulfillment of the purpose written over your life. But it cannot be claimed through stubbornness or delay. It rests only upon those who bow before the King and say, "Not my will, but yours be done." Hence it, obedience has always been the dividing line. It is not talent that separates the chosen, it is surrender. It is not charisma, not eloquence, not the applause of men. It is the quiet, costly, consistent yes to God. The yes that persists when no one else sees. The yes that continues when it is uncomfortable. The yes that remains when everything in you wants to resist. The voice of God resounded through the words of Samuel to Saul. In the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. This truth is unshakable. Obedience is greater than grand gestures. Obedience is greater than appearances. Obedience is the soil in which the crown grows. Beloved, reflect on your journey. How many times has disobedience delayed your breakthrough? How many times have you felt the weight of conviction, only to silence it with excuses? And yet, here you are again, given another chance to obey. This is mercy. This is grace. But mercy is not endless if obedience never comes. The crown is ready, but it waits. It is polished, prepared, held in heaven's hand, but heaven will not place it on a resisting head. The glory is not denied, but it is delayed until surrender is real. Do not be deceived into thinking half-heartedness is enough. Lukewarm obedience is not obedience at all. The King does not crown divided hearts. He crowns those who yield fully, who offer their lives without reservation. It is all or nothing. Think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, the weight of the cross before him, the agony of the cup of suffering in his hand, yet his words cut through eternity, "Not my will, but yours be done." That obedience, painful and costly, led to resurrection, to glory, to the crown. Above all crowns, without that surrender, redemption would never have been accomplished. Chosen one, the same pattern lies before you. Your crown is tied to your surrender. Your authority is tied to your obedience. If you cling to your own way, you forfeit what heaven longs to give you. But if you bow, if you yield, if you say yes with your whole heart, the crown will be placed upon your head. Do not think obedience makes you less. The world teaches that surrender is weakness, that yielding is defeat. But in the kingdom of God, surrender is strength, and obedience is victory. The proud fall, but the obedient rise. The stubborn lose, but the surrendered inherit. And obedience does not only bless you, it blesses generations. Your yes today opens doors for others tomorrow. Your surrender becomes a covering for those attached to your life. Just as disobedience leaves a legacy of brokenness, obedience leaves a legacy of blessing. What you choose today will echo far beyond your years. Beloved, picture the crown waiting for you. It is not made of fragile metal or fading jewels. It is woven of eternal glory. It carries weight, not for your vanity, but for your authority. It is meant to rest on your head as a sign that you are chosen, surrendered it, and trusted. And though unseen now, it is as real as the breath in your lungs. But the crown is not cheap. It costs your pride. It costs your stubbornness. It costs the illusion of control. And yet, what you gain far outweighs what you lose. You trade fleeting rebellion for eternal glory. You trade temporary comfort for everlasting authority. You trade self for destiny. Chosen one, the crown awaits obedience. Do not delay. Do not harden your heart. Do not think tomorrow will be safer than today. Every moment matters. Every decision matters. Every yes carries eternal weight. And when you finally bow, when you finally yield, heaven will rise in response. The King himself will place the crown upon your head and declare, "Well done," and no power of darkness will ever remove what obedience secured. Chosen one, you stand at the final crossroads. The path behind you has been marked with tears, battles, delays, whispers of mercy, and chains broken by unseen hands. But now, there is no mistaking it. You are at the place where eternity bends close, where heaven and hell both wait for your decision. This is not a moment to brush aside. This is the final call, the eternal choice. From the beginning, you have been pursued, even in your silence. God spoke, even in your rebellion. He shielded, even in your distractions. He whispered, again and again. He reached for you, giving chance after chance, moment after moment, call after call. And now, once more, his voice is clear. But this moment is not like the others. This one carries a weight that cannot be ignored. The ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. This is the essence of your crossroads, life or death, blessing or curse, destiny or regret. And though God's mercy has carried you this far, mercy does not override choice. Heaven presents the path, but you must walk it. Consider how long you have wavered, how many times you said, tomorrow. How many times you promised yourself change, but returned to the same patterns. How many times you silenced the stirring in your heart because it was uncomfortable. Each delay brought you closer to the edge. And now, you are here, beloved. The gravity of this moment cannot be overstated. To ignore this final call is to step willingly into regret that will echo forever. To say yes, however, is to enter into a destiny so vast, so radiant, that even your imagination cannot grasp it. Picture two doors before you. One is wide, easy, filled with noise and distractions, the crowd rushing through it, but it leads to emptiness, to shadows, to ruin. The other door is narrow, costly, requiring surrender, but beyond it lies life, freedom, joy, unshakable, and the glory of the crown that was always meant for you. Which will you choose? Do not deceive yourself with the thought that you can stand still between the doors. Neutrality is an illusion. To delay is to decide. To ignore is to choose the wide door by default. This is why the voice presses so urgently. You cannot remain in between forever. Look back once more. Chosen one. The tears you wept in secret, were they wasted? No. They were counted. The battles you endured, were they meaningless? No. They were preparation. The chains you carried, did they break you? No. They forged your authority. Everything has been leading you here, to this final decision, to step through the door of life, or to turn away into regret. And understand this, the choice you make does not affect you alone. Generations are tied to your obedience. Others will rise because you rose. Others will fall if you refuse. Heaven's plan was never only about you, it was about those your light was meant to reach. Your yes unlocks freedom for many, your no leaves them in shadows. Beloved, hear the tenderness in this truth. God is not begging you because He is weak. He is calling you because He loves. His mercy is not desperation, it is devotion. He has waited for you longer than anyone else has, pursued you when others gave up, held you when others walked away. And now, He waits once more, but not forever. The crossroads are clear. The choice is before you. Life or regret, destiny or emptiness, the crown or the chain. Chosen one. Let your soul feel the weight of this moment. Eternity is leaning in. Angels hold their breath. Demons tremble at the thought of your yes. And the King of Kings stretches out His hand, not with force, but with love. He will not drag you. He will not coerce you. But He will invite you with every ounce of mercy still extended. The final call has sounded. What will you choose? Chosen one. If you have walked through this entire journey, then you know this truth deep within. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are not here by accident. You are chosen. The path has not been easy. You have faced storms that threatened to undo you, chains that tried to define you, distractions that sought to blind you, and yet, through it all, you remained. That survival itself is the mark of your calling. This moment is not about fear. It is about awakening. It is about recognizing that you carry a crown that waits on the other side of surrender. It is about understanding that your scars are not your shame, they are your authority. It is about knowing that the voice you have been hearing all along was never meant to condemn you, but to call you home. And though the choice before you is weighty, the promise is greater. If you choose life, if you choose surrender, if you choose obedience, then nothing, no power of darkness, no storm of hell, No chain of the past will be able to stop the glory that God is about to release in you. Lift your head. Chosen one. Step forward with courage. This is your moment. This is your hour. This is the reason you were born. Your best days are not behind you. They are ahead. The crown awaits. The door of destiny is open. The voice of God still calls, and you still have time to answer. Step into your calling. Step into your light. Step into your future. You are chosen. You are marked. You are unstoppable.